Just sit right back and you'll hear a tale of a fateful trip that started from this tropic port aboard this tiny ship. The mate was a mighty sailing man, the skipper brave and sure. 5 passengers set sail that day for a 3-hour tour, a 3-hour tour.
Hello everyone and welcome to another Design of the Week. I'm so glad you could join me this week. I've chosen to do a nautical themed nail art design, so please follow along with me and we will create this design together. It's very simple to do, but there are a few steps to it. The first step, you're going to need a color, and I've chosen to do blue and red to start with. So this is the nail we're going to focus on right here. So my first color was China Glaze, and it's entitled First Mate. Now this is a really thick dark blue, so I only needed to do 1 coat, but you can gauge that when you put it on, depending on which color you decide to use. And how I painted my nail was, I took the brush and instead of painting the full nail blue first and then having to do several coats of red on top because it's a lighter color, I took the brush and I just painted 1/3 down the nail on an angle here, and then I filled the rest in. And I did get a little bit on my skin, but you can clean that up after. Then for the red, I used the OPI color entitled Color So Hot It Burns. But I needed to do 2 coats of this to get a nice deep red. And then I just painted that on an angle here. Let it dry really good, and we're ready for the next step. The reason I wanted to do this design was to incorporate a new product that I just got in. I was so excited to try this out. It's called striping tape. It's very, very thin tape, as you can see, and it peels off sticky. And then you can just place it on your nail. See, like that? And what I love about this is I'm horrible at drawing straight lines with a striper or a nail art pen. And you don't have to do that with this. You just stick it on, cut the excess off, and away you go. So that's going to be our first step. So let's do that. Now, doing your opposite hand, you know, your bad hand, wasn't so easy. So you might have to get a friend to help with this design if you're not ambidextrous. Okay, so what you're going to want to do, and let's get a clean cut here. You need a good pair of scissors that are either craft scissors or cuticle scissors, something that's really, really thin, so that you can get up close to your nail to cut. So let's just cut off the edge here. Like that. That way I've got a clean stick. So we're gonna just pull that out a little bit. And I'm gonna start at the edge of my nail here, okay? And I'm just gonna push that down with my finger. And you're just gonna pull the striping tape across like this on an angle for this design, and just kind of pat it down so that it sticks. Okay, and then I'm going to take my scissors here and I'm going to try, let's do this, turn my hand a bit to get as close to my nail without cutting my nail as possible. Okay, so the first stripe is done. And I'm going to pull a little bit more. And I'm going to leave a little space in between to do my nautical stripes here. So you have to be patient with this. It's a little finicky, but it beats trying to draw a straight line. And the reason I'm using this too is I haven't been able to find a stamp that is an exact straight line in the thickness I wanted. So this is the next best thing until I can find that on a plate. Okay, so that's my next line there. I'm just going to cut that as close as possible and pat it down. Okay, and my last strip here. Start there. And just go across. Just like that. Okay. Now, if you have some sticking out like this, you're gonna wanna try to get as close to the nail as possible, because if you leave it over the edge and after you put your top coat on, it is possible it will peel back. There we go. Okay, that's done. Our next step is going to be the stamp. And I've chosen to use my BM08 plate and this anchor right here. And we're gonna stamp it in stamping weight, and we're gonna put it down in the corner of the nail. So the biggest area where the red is there. And just turn it around since I'm right-handed that way. Okay, check it. And down at the bottom of the nail there. Okay. Make sure you clean your plate off. And you're ready for the next step. For the next step, I use my Miji pen in white, but you could also do this with a striper. But I found with these for doing dots, because as you can see, I've got a little bit of a rope going on behind the anchor. It's way easier to do with one of these pens. I love them, they're great. So all you need to do is, I'm just gonna turn it this way so you can see. I just, make sure you squeeze it a little bit on a paper towel so it doesn't go too much on your nail to start off with, because sometimes there's air in there. You're just gonna start at the top of the anchor and you're just gonna do dots spaced a little bit apart like this, and I came around the nail like this. And then I just came down behind the anchor like that. Okay, and you're gonna wanna let that dry because that takes a few minutes to dry, as opposed to the stamping, which dries instantly pretty quick. The final step is to add some bling, my favorite. I'm using an Art Club striper. This one just says it's silver glitter. But any striper that you have will do, as long as it has a little bit of glitter in it. I just find it adds to the design. I'm just going to separate my two colors. And be careful, because sometimes when you pull the striper out, there's a big glob at the top and it can come off on your nail design. So I'm just going to start on one edge here and just go across like this. And sometimes you have to dip it in a little bit more to get the amount that you need on there. And I decided I was going to do a little bit in the hole of the top of the anchor there, just like a little rhinestone. Let that dry really good, and then you're ready for your top coat. And remember, with your top coat, you want to put lots on the brush and only go over your design once. But that's basically all there is to it. I hope you had fun doing this nautical design. Let me know how it goes, and we'll see you next week. Thanks so much for watching, and happy stamping!